Hi, this is Jay Fleming. I'm the Senior Developer with Lilaea Media, and this is the Child Theme Configurator Quick Start video. So we're going to go right to Tools, and Child Themes. And this is what you see if you have not installed any child themes yet. You just have the Parent-Child tab available and then a bunch of options. The first thing you want to do is select the parent theme that you want to make a child theme of. Click on the Parent Theme menu and you'll see one of the things we've added is a preview of the themes that you can choose from. I've got a bunch loaded here, and I've got 2015 loaded. 2015 is coming out in version 4.1, and you'll see that it automatically loads a child theme name here based on the parent theme that you select. But you can change it if you want to, so you could just actually type in something else if you want. New. And then for author, that's completely up to you. And version is really for your own internal tracking, but it is a required field for the child theme style sheet. One of the new options that we have added is this ability to copy your parent theme options. And what that'll do if you check the box is copy the menus and widgets and other things like background, header image over to the child theme. The next is this parent style sheet handling option. In earlier versions of Child Theme Configurator, it would automatically create an add import statement in the style sheet. There's a lot of movement away from that now, so we're giving you the option to link the style sheet via the WordPress in-queue system. You can choose add import if you're using an older theme that hardwires the style sheet and doesn't use the in-queue feature. And you can also select none if you know that your theme is already handling all the styles automatically and you don't need to worry about the parent style sheet at all. If you don't know what to put here, don't worry about it. Just choose link and you should be all good. This last thing is parse additional style sheets. This is available for themes that put all their core styles into separate files. Child Theme Configurator will automatically parse the parent style sheet, the style.css file. A lot of themes are no longer using that for their styles. Instead, they're putting their styles in a separate file or group of files. What this allows you to do is select those so that they get loaded into the configurator for you to customize. In this 2015 theme, you can see that one of these is checked. This would be a style sheet that gets loaded the way the theme is set up now. If you know that you need to parse additional style sheets, you can check them here. So we're just going to leave this alone and click regenerate/rebuild child theme files to generate your child theme. So what this has done is it's created a new directory under your themes directory to contain all the child theme files. So now you have this additional menu that has the existing child themes that you have set up. So we just added this new 2015 child. You can see it's just like the other menu where it gives you a preview. Before you activate your child theme, you're going to want to go to live preview and test it first. The reason I recommend that you do this is because if there's anything wrong with your child theme that is going to keep it from working correctly, you're going to know that before you activate it by using the live preview. So if, for example, the parent styles weren't being loaded correctly, you would see a generic unstyled version of the page here. Or if there was something causing the theme to completely break, it would crash here, but it wouldn't crash your main website. So if everything looks good, then you can activate it here. After you've created your first child theme, you will notice there's a bunch of new options. These tabs across the top: Query Selector, Rule Value, Import, Child CSS, Parent CSS, and Files. And we're going to go over each one of these as we go along in the tutorial. The other thing you see is that now you've got some additional options down here. You can back up your current style sheet, which means that you can make a copy of the style sheet in its current state and then reload it so that you can kind of save it at a certain point in case you need to go back to it. Likewise, there's now this reset and restore where you can actually reset all your changes to the defaults, basically back to the parent theme's settings. So just to show you how that works, we're going to actually create a backup here and we're going to rebuild the child theme. So it did the same thing. It reparsed everything, but now we have a backup file. So if you go down to this restore from backup, you're going to see that you have this backup option down here. So if you make a bunch of changes, you don't like what you've done, you want to go back to a certain point, you have this to go back to, and you do the same thing. Just select that and hit generate rebuild again. So one of the common things that people want to do when they have a parent theme is change the color of certain things, backgrounds, font, text, whatever. And the Child Theme Configurator makes it really easy to do that, either using the Query Selector menu or tab or the Rule Value tab. We're using the Rule Value tab here. So if you want to isolate a certain rule, such as color, you can just type the color here, and it's going to automatically populate a menu with CSS rules that match the string you typed. So we're interested in color, which is actually the term for the font color. And it's going to load every style that it finds with a color attribute in the style sheet and show it to you. It also gives you a sample swatch so you can see the color actually in real time. And you can see that 2012 has a lot of grays. So one of the things I wanted to do in this demo was brighten this up a little bit. So we're going to look for the link text and make that change. So it looks like this blue is the link text. So we want to click the selectors link to see exactly which CSS selectors that it's modifying for that color. And you can see we have a number that show up here. It's going to be organized by selector and then grouped by the query block or media query in the style sheet. Most of the time your styles are likely going to be under the base, which is sort of the catch-all for any styles that don't actually have a specific media query associated with them. We just use the term base so that we have something to describe it with. So you can see that we have an anchor HTML element here and then a box for the child theme setting. Again, we have the swatch to show you in real time what the change looks like. And you'll also notice when you click on the box, if it is a color, it's going to automatically load the Iris Color Picker, which is a great plugin that came with the, I believe, 3.5 WordPress release. And it lets you just drag the color that you want to change. Like this, I want to pick a nice teal. So you can drag the hue over on the right and then select the actual shade you want by dragging this little pointer. So we're going to get a little darker, and then you want to save that. And what that's going to do is update the Child Theme Configurator's internal configuration data. It also updates at the same time the child theme style sheet. So if you go back to the tab that says View Child CSS, you'll see a new entry here for this anchor with the new color specified. So if we wanted to see what that looks like in action, we can do that using WordPress's great theme preview tool. We're going to go over here to Appearance and Themes, and you'll see that we have our new demo child theme, and you can click Live Preview to see what your changes look like. Okay, so you can see wherever there was an anchor in the content, it's changed it to this teal color. And the great thing about the preview is that you don't actually have to activate your child theme until it's how you want it. So we've got this link here, we've got the header, got a couple more headers, and so it looks like it's gotten all the links except for these sidebars, these links. What's going on with that? It's not affecting these. And this is where the query selector comes in. So we did sort of a global change to the color, but it's not affecting everything. So we want to see what is causing that sidebar to ignore my change. Most likely it's going to be a style that is designed for the widgets, the sidebar widgets. So I'm just going to type widget here. This queries the configuration data for any selectors that match the string you type in. So we have a bunch of widget type styles here. So what we're looking for is widget A, some kind of an anchor tag, and it looks like this is the one we want here, widget area, widget A. So it's going to load that style. It's going to give you the sample, which is a gray, and you can see that it's, clearly it's not being overridden by the green or the teal that we selected. So let's go ahead and make that change as well. If you want to get the exact color, hex color, you can copy it and paste it here, or we're just going to do something that's close to it just for this demo. So I'm going to do that and then save it. Now if we go back to our themes panel and preview the demo, okay, it looks like we got our sidebar colors fixed, but there's still some here that are not being affected. Okay, well that's one of the things that the Child Theme Configurator is great at, is finding those little corner cases. So let's go back and see if we can't find what is holding up our change here. So we know it's a widget, so we're going to start with that. And it's probably some variation of widget A. So you see down here we've got widget A hover and widget A visited, and which we didn't actually change. So we're going to first start with the hover state. And for the hover state, I want to do something a little different than the green we selected. I want to do like a darker teal. Let's do something like that, and we'll make it, you know, a little darker. So let's make it much darker. There, okay. So that'll fix that. And then type widget again, and we have this visited, and I think that's the one that it was holding on to. It's a pseudo class that says if you visited this link, then use this style. So we're gonna do that, and sure enough, it's this lighter gray, which is what we saw over there. And we're just gonna do the same thing. We're gonna grab this teal. Something there, right there, okay, and do something like that. And like I said, you can get the actual exact hex value if you want to make it consistent. I'm just doing it quickly here with using the Iris color picker. So that's saved. You can see in our child CSS that we have all these widget area variations in the new style sheet that are overriding the parent, and we can view our change by going to themes in live preview. And now it looks like everything is fixed, and now when you mouse over the link, you get that darker teal. So one of the things you can do with the Child Theme Configurator is add your own custom fonts to your child theme. And to do that, use the WebFonts tab. WebFonts tab is a way for you to link external style sheets to your child theme. If you want to grab a font, go over to Google Fonts, and we're going to actually add two typefaces here. Let's add this Roboto Slab, and let's add Railway. And we're going to click the Use, and let's use the light too. And so we've selected Roboto Slab and Railway. Let's go down here and grab this @import rule. Now we're using the @import rule for a specific reason, and I'll explain that in a second. Over to the WebFonts box here, the WebFonts tab, just paste that whole @import rule in here and save it. Okay, for the values, we're going to copy these values over to a text document. So I'm going to open a new text document here and paste it. So we've got there, Roboto Slab, we're going to copy Railway. And I'm just using this sort of as a scratch pad. So now let's go to the Query Selector tab. We're going to actually use Railway for the headline style. So let's type H1 here, and then you'll see that there's actually an entry that covers all the headline styles. Grab that, it's H1 through H6. And we're going to actually add the font family rule. And then in our little text document, grab that Railway. So let's grab the whole thing. The fallback and add that. Okay. And you want to make sure you don't get that semicolon because that'll screw things up. Delete that and then hit save. You'll notice that it actually displays the typeface now in your preview. And we're going to say font weight 300. And for the body font, we're going to use that Roboto Slab. So let's do this and grab Roboto Slab, change that, and remember, delete that semicolon, save, and let's see that other body. I think this, yeah, see, okay, so the first one was sort of a fallback for the entire theme. It uses Helvetica as the default font. And then we have this custom font enabled style. I guess this is just to, it's used by the theme to flag that you're using a custom font. I'm not sure, but we're going to just paste it in here anyway. Delete the semicolon, save. And so now if we go back to preview, you'll notice now it's using Roboto Slab for all the content, the body content, but it's using Railway for the headline style. Now one thing you see here is that if you inspect it, it looks like it's not using the light version, the 300 weight, and I think that's because there is this specific style just for the title. So we're going to need to modify entry header, entry title. Yeah, it looks like it's, yeah, see how it's right here, it's setting font weight to normal. So we're going to need to adjust that too. So we're going to go back again to Child Themes. And now we need to add that entry title where it's got this font weight normal showing up. We need to change that to 300. And let's actually make the typeface a little bigger. So I'm going to say 2.2 rem. Now let's preview one more time. This is just a shortcut. So what we've done is we've used the Railway typeface for the article headline here, and if you inspect it, you'll notice that we've also changed the weight to use 300 here, entry header, entry title 300. So it's using the light version of Railway, and then for all the other type, it's using this Roboto Slab that we changed. One other thing I want to point out is that in previous versions of Child Theme Configurator, the WebFonts tab actually put an @import rule into the child style sheet. We're no longer doing that here. If you look at the child CSS preview, we're not actually importing. What we're doing is Configurator is reading this import statement and converting it into an external style sheet link for a number of reasons. But the reason why we continue to use the @import as the way to input it is mainly just for simplicity. So you can continue to use the same syntax that you've used before. The only difference is that behind the scenes it's automatically converting that to a link. And to confirm that, we can actually look at the source code. Go to this frame, view frame source, and scroll down. What we're going to see is that now we have your a new link that says Child Theme Config External 1 CSS. So for every @import rule that you put in the WebFonts box, input box, it's going to add an external link here, and it's just converting that into the href value of that external link. So we're no longer using @import. We're actually converting everything to external link tags. So that's how you add WebFonts to your theme using Child Theme Configurator. A couple of things I wanted to go over too is Child Theme Configurator has a couple of sort of internal syntaxes that it uses for things, and one is the background image. A lot of times you'll see this in some themes where they use gradient to style things like buttons, and you can see that's the case here. What the Child Theme Configurator does with gradients is it sort of condenses them down into 3 parameters: the origin, the start color, and the end color. And we really simplified it basically because the vast majority of the time gradients are going to be used in this way. There's going to be 2 colors. Typically it's going to be to do some kind of glossy button. And so we just try to make it simple. If you want to do more advanced type gradients, you'll have to create those some other way than the Child Theme Configurator. So what happens here is we can go in and we can say wherever we see this color combination, change origin top to, let's say we want to make it like a red button. So it'll have a lighter red top and a darker red bottom. And we'll save that. So you see this menu toggle input, all these different selectors. So if we go back over to Query Selector and say toggle, you'll see it's loaded our color change. So on this we can go in and we can change the font color. Let's change that to white. And let's change the border. This is the other thing, is the border. We also have sort of an internal syntax that we use, because most of the time with border you're going to use a shorthand form, and it'll be, it's the width, style, color. So what we've done is just make that sort of the standard way that you do borders. You can enter them independently if you want, but it works a lot better if you just do it this way. Let's change this 2 pixels. Let's say dotted, just for fun, and we'll just make it black. Just for this example. So we can save that. So now our buttons have this gradient background red, white type, dotted outline border. So in our theme preview, you'll see wherever there's a button, we have this new style. The next thing is this new Files tab. We had a lot of requests for people who wanted to be able to copy templates from the parent theme into their child theme and edit them. And I hadn't really thought of that. The original thought was for this to be a tool to edit the style sheet, but it's sort of evolved into a tool to basically configure your entire child theme from templates down to style. So we went ahead and added this feature. So what it does is it scans the parent theme and creates this list of all of the templates that the parent theme is using for various things, like the file not found template, the header, the footer, default index page, all this stuff that WordPress uses automatically to generate the content. You can now customize. So what you do is, let's say you want to edit this sidebar content page template. You can copy that over your child theme, and it will show up here under child templates now. And that means that it has actually copied the template verbatim over into the child theme so that you can edit it. And we've added a link to make it easy to go over to the editor, and it will automatically go to your child theme, and you can see that the new sidebar content page template is now here. You can click on it and you can edit it by hand if you want. One thing to be aware of is that if your child theme is active and you make a change and that change ends up breaking WordPress or breaking PHP because of a syntax error or a logic problem or some other bug, it will break your site. So I always recommend that you do your changes on an inactive theme. Use the live preview tool under Appearance to verify that it works, and then you can go back and activate it. So now the new child theme for responsive is using the child theme template, the child theme style sheet, and that one content template that we copied over. It will automatically use that instead of the parent themes template. That's just a function of child themes that's built into WordPress. It just all works. So there you go. That is how you copy templates. Let's go back to the child theme files page. The next thing we've added is the ability to upload images. So what we've done here is added a file uploader that actually puts the images in a image directory in the child theme and not in the media library. If you want to upload images for use in the site itself, keep using the media library. Don't use this. This is really only specifically to be used by the style sheet. Okay, so we're going to upload an image to the child theme images directory, click browse. It's just like any other file uploader, and I'm going to upload a background from the jQuery UI. And it's going to put that image in the child theme images directory, and you can click on it and it'll give you a live preview of the image. So how do you use that? Well, let's go back to Query Selector just for example, and let's create a new theme. So we're going to say stripy background, well, images. What was that? Copy this. Stripy background is using this image that we just uploaded into images directory. So it's a relative path to the style sheet because it's actually in the child theme. I'm going to save that. Now if we load stripy background, you'll see now we have this image repeating pattern that's available to you. And you can do that with any images. Just for grins, let's do another one I've got loaded here. Let's load the jQuery UI icon set. So click browse, go down here, find the, let's see, I've got a bunch of stuff on my desktop. Here we go, UI icons, and I'm going to load that. So now you've got the icon set from the jQuery UI that's available for your styles as well. One last thing that we've added is the ability to customize your screenshot, and this is really not, mission critical, but it's useful. So it gives you a view of the current screenshot. You can click it, enlarge it, and see what you got here. This is the screenshot that comes with the responsive theme. And let's say we want to customize it. So I'm going to click Browse, and I'm going to load this picture of Sheldon. Sheldon is my cat. Now Sheldon is the child theme screenshot. Here's Sheldon. Hey Sheldon. So now over in Appearance, Sheldon is the featured screenshot for my child theme. One more thing to point out is that if for whatever reason you need to remove a template from the child theme, you can by checking it here and clicking Remove, and it will just go away. This is useful if, say, for example, you decide to change the parent you want to use. Let's say we go to, let's load 2011. Okay, and then the files. You'll notice that the templates are different. They are the templates for the 2011 theme. And let's say we copied this tag template over. Okay, and then we change our mind. So we say, okay, I don't want to use 2011, I want to use 2012. So we go to 2012 and load that instead. So that's the new parent. Still using the original child theme responsive child. You'll see that it still has that original tag template from 2011. Well, that might create a problem because 2012 has its own tag and the code might be different. So what you need to do is delete that one and then copy the new one. You can also do the same thing with the images. So we decide we don't want these images in the way, we can remove those as well. And they just go away. Something else I want to point out under the files, on the files page, is that now your backup files are going to show up here in this child theme file section. So if you want to get rid of an old backup file, you can just check it and then delete selected, and it'll get rid of it just like it would for any other child theme file. We've also added the ability to export your child theme as a zip archive. So if you wanted to save the entire set of changes that you've made and then move it over to another WordPress site, you can do that by just clicking export and it'll create a zip file you can save, and then you can load that on another site just like you would load a new theme. Well, that's about it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, please drop us a line on our website. You can fill out the contact form, or you can send us an email to solutions@lilaeamedia.com, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching.